Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today, we're joined with BzyBlaxe. Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks so much for coming along. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah, I have a section I wrote up that I wrote that I figured it would be nice to introduce myself with. It's it is okay. First important detail I think about me is that I have only been recording music for 7 months and writing songs for almost 6 years.
Wow.
I have a twin sister who paints a pretty cool art while overcoming a traumatic brain injury. She was hit by a car one evening at only 6 years old. I believe the guilt combined with that trauma haunts a part of me from making her wait until I was ready to leave. I feel that I had a responsibility to prevent that from happening because I changed the timeline. Never could I be a kid again after watching my negligence destroy parts of my twin. To be honest with y'all, I've never known what it's like to value myself because I can't let that go. Recently, I started thinking, what if she saved me for a bigger purpose unknowingly? I don't know if I could deny that concept if I successfully achieved some of my plans. The music was never part of my plan, but after running from so many different chapters of my life, I was straight up lost and completely confused with how so many chapters of my life are beyond my control. The music grants me permission to embrace everything in a way that will break the curses over me and my fans who absorb the emotional context as needed. When I was 19, I joined the United States Navy as a special warfare operator, aka Navy SEALs. I figured with the way I calculate everything around me that I'd find that program suitable for me and hopefully give me a sense of value. Unfortunately, I quit during buds the week before Hell Week and moved on to become a parachute rigger. Enough of that. Just fill in the rest with miscellaneous jobs and substance abuse slash self medicating. It's all important information on the psychological angles of why a person does things differently than what's expected from them. I think there's a lot more I want to talk about when I'm asked specifically about a topic, but it's hard to just say things about myself without cause. Ironically, I get this opportunity to speak with you about a major issue that I haven't addressed with anybody within my personal circle. I'm 33 years old and have been non binary for a long time, yet have never been given a voice explaining myself to the closest people I know. I'm here to tell you all about the all out. I'm here to tell you all out there who may struggle mentally with a gender dysphoria to please don't delay discussions with people who you can be seen with an accurate account of your identity. If you only deal with the issue alone and put yourself out there living what you used to know as yourself, eventually the lines will blur so much that you don't know either side of yourself. I have no biofeedback about myself. Find me and the elephant in the room wondering why no one brings anything up that's been rumored about me, whether it's true or not. I may never know the truth from anyone during my past, and to me, that's a tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. Whereabouts are you based at the moment? Where are you at the moment?
Say that again.
Whereabouts are you based right now?
Oh, I'm not in the service no more. I served only like 3 years and got out in 2014. I've been out for 10 years.
Right.
I'm I'm working on getting a disability, to be honest with you, unfortunately, because nothing's really worked over the 10 years besides my music that I've started putting out. But that takes time to uh, grow organically.
And whereabouts in the States are you located now then?
I'm in Alabama.
Lovely. That's where my family was. Some of my family's from there originally. So it's a nice area,
Oh,
actually.
lovely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing such a heartfelt story. It brought
Thank
tears
you.
to my eyes, actually. And I don't often cry on a podcast, but I've definitely still got tears in my eyes.
Oh,
I just want to say thank you for being so vulnerable and open, because that's
hmm.
really important. And I think a lot of music artists, especially, go through trauma, and it's a way of release and expression.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit more about that and how it kind of helps you and makes you understand some of the trauma and make some understanding out of what's happened and how you progress?
Yeah. It's really, it's become my only voice of holding on to any value or sense of worth about myself, even in times when realistically it seems so far away. And,
Yeah.
you seem like you're so small in this world. But, um, sometimes we go through life lessons and, you can't change the perception of situations that people go through. Like, it's actually, you know, very common for people to have mistakes in their life where both people's perception was with zero intentions of affecting the other one in a negative way.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us to actually accept that between each other and people. We've seen, their shortcomings, their failures, and their endings happen where one doesn't grant the other one enough mercy for that, I guess you would say, in
Yeah.
a kind of way that can kind of haunt you and torment you throughout your days. So, my way of finding closure to that is through my music and trying to communicate with hope that it reaches people who it needs to reach.
That's really, really beautiful. Thank you. And how did you get into music? You've kind of mentioned some of this earlier, but what really brought you to music? What was it that kind of said to you, do you know what,
Hmm.
I've got to do it musically?
Yeah, it's funny. I was sitting in lockup. I was actually incarcerated and I wrote a song where I was just talking between me and Jesus.
Yeah.
And that one came together, and it becomes something at nighttime when I got to go out on the little basketball court alone and look up at the sky in this little section where I could hopefully catch a star or the moon.
Yeah.
I would walk these laps wrapped up in a blanket in the middle of winter for as long as I could stay out there, and I would just sing that song. And finally, I was just like, I got to start writing some other stuff down
Yeah.
because this feels good, and it's led me 200 plus songs later that
Wow.
has told me more about myself than I knew about myself even when writing the song.
I love that. I actually really love that. And I'm glad you say about yourself because everything, right, is about you and what you've been through, your experiences, right?
Correct. Yes, they're all as close to being realistic in the autobiography way. Uh, Bibliographic way. Would that be how I'd say that? Maybe bibliographic.
Yeah, cool. That's very, very interesting. So what kind of
Yeah.
challenges and barriers do you face when you're trying to make music and you're trying to progress? Like, what
Oh
do
God.
you find hard?
Um. I mean, because the whole idea of the art as a whole is me doing this out of poverty, unfortunately, and it's not by choice, but it's just by the candidness of what I'm trying to be able to portray of myself in
Yeah,
as clear of a virtual world as possible. And you see what I'm saying? And communicate that as a whole because I don't want to leave out any small details that can be important to whoever it may be important to.
yeah,
So it's kind of hard to do that when it's through poverty. And the whole driving machine of today's world is you got to pay to play and not having that way. Like I've been fortunate for some of the ways that I've been able to get my music out there. I did come into like a little over $4,000 early this year. And that's how I published those 14 songs that I have that are released. Excuse me, is how I released those 14 songs that are out now was through paying for what I did, what I was able to afford at that one time, helping with intentions that that would be enough to organically stimulate my journey to be able to be broadcast. But it hasn't been, and that's unfortunate. It's gotten me on America's Next Top Hit Maker. That was cool. He got me nominated for a CMA Shining Star Award at the Caribbean Music Awards. So there's been some accolades that have happened within these few short months of me recording and putting music out. But coming to put it out now, I seem to limit myself because I see barriers and it's hard to look past them sometimes because it's just an impossible feat that you got to face in the music industry. My thing, excuse me, I know I'll breathe for a second, but my thing is if the world is as big as it is, why are there not more people in the music industry that are successful? And as what I mean by that, within the numbers are big, like the same stations that are corporately ran through iHeartRadio, who I do love and go see and try to get them to play my music quite often here in Birmingham. But they play the same artists, Drake, Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar, and I love all of them. Okay. I seriously like I'm Kendrick Lamar is where I set my goal. Like that's what I'm chasing every time is lyrically on the poetic level is that. But you hear the same ones and it doesn't leave much room open for like we know those artists, so we're always going to be listening to them. But it should be a little more expanded, and I wish it was.
yeah. It's not always easy to get into it, but you keep doing what you're doing. It sounds like you've had some really good successes along the way.
Yeah, it's slower than I expected,
Yeah,
but
but
they, to
you know,
say the least, yes.
Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. It takes time. And even I say to myself, you've got to be patient, you've got to be very dedicated, and you just got to keep going, right? And that's what you
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I wish I felt the peace for like the the idea of time which you have left. I
Yeah,
miss the days I had peace about my tomorrow and my future endeavors like that I was chasing. And now I don't have that sense of peace with that anymore. I always feel that time is too short, and that's something that I'm facing. Like it's haunting me in a lot of ways,
yeah.
but it's due to a lot of things that I have struggled with, like suicide,
So
it, thoughts and attempts. It's caused me to always have a sense of rush, and I don't relax as often as I should.
yeah, but you keep going, and I'll tell you what, you are inspirational in yourself and what you do and what you talk about. So, how do you find inspiration? Who do you look up to, and what gives you the strength to keep going?
50 Cent is one of the people I would say gives me some of the greatest inspiration on either the cause and effect of what may not ever even been an intention from the beginning, but became one of the greatest values of end result what it does. So seeing him go through surviving his early trials of being shot and warfare in the streets to him becoming a director of his own shows like For Life, that TV show he's launched, and other series that he's done recently. It's like he said in a video that there were so many times that he faced perseverance,
Yeah,
like faced
adversity.
yeah, he faced he adversity during times when he was expecting to already be able to reap the benefits, the rewards for what he was doing,
Yeah,
and it not coming yet. But if he didn't go through those times, he wouldn't be able to be prepared now for when it
exactly.
is coming through. And that he said it way better than I did, but I liked his perspective on that.
I like his perspective on that, and I think you learn along the way. And I think if you made it overnight, you wouldn't know what to do. And I think a lot of what we learn is to teach us for what to come, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's funny how it all works.
And
You
what's
got to really envision it.
you're over in the States at the moment. What's your thoughts on, around equity, diversity, inclusion, all that kind of stuff? Do you think it's representative? Do you see a lot of diversity and diverse acts, new acts coming up? What's going on?
I wish I had the community around me to be able to have an answer to that, but I don't see it at all. Like, it's hard for me to find people to connect to in Birmingham around me that I'm also able to connect to online through social media. Like bridging that gap right now is the problem. Like they're bridging the gap between the interactions with the people that's around me in my daily walk of life
Yeah,
and those same people online
yeah, yeah,
through that like that being missing is like it almost causes some sort of dysphoria in its own self. Like
yeah.
you don't have that baseline to go off of, and that's strange. Like I'm from Tuscaloosa, I'm not originally from Birmingham, so that's part of the excuse. And then I served military, and then I landed back over here after going around different states. So uh it made I don't really realistically believe that that's possible to not be able to have that, like especially when the attempt is there by the individual. So you don't want to know what I think about it. Like I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that's it's being prevented, like firewalled with restrained away from me through like a probationary wall of
Right.
barrier that's
Expectation.
resisting me from being able to have what it is that I'm trying to ensure I complete. And that right there, uh, this is the problem.
Do you have networking events and socials where you can go and meet other people in the music business, or is there kind of open mic nights or anything like that that you do?
No, I haven't gotten into doing any of them out live places, and I I realized I'm getting behind on that.
Mm-hmm. Because I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
a good way of making money is obviously getting your songs onto adverts, onto TV shows, going out performing live, merchandise. You know, streaming doesn't really pay the bills, does it? And I think that's where a lot of other artists struggle too, is knowing how to make the money in the business.
Yeah, and my anxiety has kicked in too much on that to figure out how to map my way through it myself. You
Okay.
know, that seems like this is that the I'm the horse and that's the water,
Yeah.
but I may need somebody to lead me to that water. You see what
Okay.
I'm saying? Just to be able to do that.
I'll send you some information. And do you have all your rights registered as well? So when they're getting paid, you get paid and that
I,
kind of stuff.
I do through my distributors, but not through the MCL or
Yeah.
MLC
You need to be a
thing.
member of those as well. So they're really important to get paid, right? So you need to make
Right.
a member of those. And obviously we'll be promoting your work as well. And it's so nice to see that it doesn't matter where you come from or what you've been through, you're still trying, you're still going, you're still going for your dream. And to me, that's really admirational. And I just want to see you do really, really well, actually, because I think you deserve it.
Yeah, it's a humorous cycle of insanity that may turn out to have you going, huh?
Yeah.
Was that luck, or how did that work out? You might want to reconsider everything that we thought of other situations of people's paths and chapters that we've overlooked throughout time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when a person knows what they know, and they say they know, like let them jump off that cliff then and see if they fly.
Well, that's
That's all I'm saying. Like let a person fly. Like it doesn't cost the world anything more to do
Yeah, that's so true. That's
that.
part of the process too, right? It's learning that and knowing when is the right time because it's also about timing. You want to get the timing right for sure. I will send you some information on that. And what would you like to see improve in the next couple of years, especially where you're at right now? Where would you like to be, and what is your next steps? I know you're bringing out some more tracks.
Well, with the artificial intelligence databases that we now are able to orchestrate and use,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be no barrier put up between any artist who wants to record over any beat at any time and
Mhm.
then release it, even though they don't have the financial the money to start to send it out. Like if that beat costs them $15 a month for each month, and 5,000 streams is what you get per year on that beat,
Mm.
and then it should be able to be taken off the back end of the music that the artist wants to put out once that song creates the the monetary value of that. They're going to get that first off the back end as it splits, and then it splits and you get your half, and then it balances out half and half the whole way.
It's
And
funny.
the algorithms, the artificial intelligence is able to pick up the beats that it then in turn prevents other people from then just taking your beat and trying to tweak it just as minimal amount as possible to be on some stuff where they can post it and
Mhm.
use it, and then you don't get paid. And that's easier to do than if you don't just set it up to where you get your money on the back
Well,
end. You can make sure you maintain locking in, gridlock that market, because you're not going to gridlock that market if you keep having to be paid on the front end.
I'm glad
Don't
you
need
said
to,
that.
yeah.
Because I was thinking about this. They used to do mixtapes back in the day, right? Mixtapes were part of that. And it was getting your name out there, but also showing your skills on someone else's beat that's familiar. What's happened to
Well,
mixtapes now? Why are they not so big as they used to be? As a promotional material. So if you're not making money from it, you're just doing it as promo and building your name. I think it's
what's happened there personally is you don't have to have the physical device, the mixtape in hand. You can pull mixtapes back if you just have something you sold to them to be the mixtape, like an Apple tag. Like
yeah.
you should buy like an Apple tag that is then holding the songs on that you can just
Okay.
connect to your phone. So
Yeah.
that way you now have memorabilia, something to connect again to sell your mixtapes and
Right.
bring that back in. But not having cars or CD players is the problem, and then not needing the CDs
Yeah.
is the reason. So
Yeah.
you bring back something that is wireless that you still can physically hold, like some sort of Apple tag that carries the mixtape on it,
I like that.
to whoever's within that circle of reception would be pretty fire.
That does sound a very good innovative idea, and I think it's also sustainable, and people
Yeah.
like. So, tell us a little bit more. Being in the music industry, has it affected your mental health in a positive way? Has it helped you feel a bit better in yourself?
You know the guy who played Elvis in the Elvis movie, and then was still talking like Elvis after
Yeah,
he finished filming the movie.
yeah,
It's kind of like that for your complete definition of yourself, because you're reshaping everything. So any perception or any interaction that you're thinking of or having with somebody, you start thinking of it, what it's like if the camera was on, or if the public was able to be looking in right now, to get a perception in a better way that would help define you through your art. And so it holds you in right there, because like when you expect it to you come up with a number like, I don't know, 25,000 people hear that song, then I can now move through that emotion of All I Have. My song All I Have is a great example. And until it's like past, you move past that, and it's hard to go, okay, well now they understand that song, now I can move on to the emotional context of this song. So you
story.
kind of get backlogged on that.
Mm-hmm. I totally, yeah, I totally agree with you on that actually. And it's also you on this earlier. It's about giving yourself a voice and feeling heard. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because there's a lot of things that uh, we put on the fence throughout life,
yeah,
and it stays on the fence for entirely too long because nobody says it the best way.
mm-hmm. I agree.
And that's something that I feel like throughout life and different times I've been like, man, if I could be up there and just explain it, what
Mm-hmm.
he's saying, with the way that it needs to be said, it would go ahead and solve that little ongoing issue that we're
Mm-hmm.
debating. And then you miss it because you're not
Absolutely.
there, or it dissolves away and it still just deals with whatever.
Yeah, I totally get you on that one. So thank you for sharing that. And obviously, you've done quite a lot. So tell us a little bit more about your music. What does your music represent? What's it about? What's the storyline? Tell us some more.
Um, there's a lot of heartbroken stuff in there. There's a lot of like, yeah, okay, so it's funny how you can lose the person that was now look back on to be a queen, to
Yeah,
someone that I look at like as a goddess of everything great. But when I had it, because my definition of love wasn't full, it wasn't filled up with every angle that I was supposed to have absorbed throughout my childhood growing up. So it was missing some parts, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't there. It was there, but it was missing some valuable parts that was supposed to be there. And I thought my love was enough with the person I was with, that this, because I loved them and they loved me, they wouldn't leave me as I failed through my shortcomings, or decided to stay doing things that I know I shouldn't be doing, but I feel like I should be doing because it's teaching me something.
yeah.
And then they give up on you. And when that happens, it's hard for you to even understand it all at all from
Been there.
love,
Been
because
there
the
myself.
closest thing that you had to love
Yes,
is now what it gave up on you. So what is love when what you thought was love gave up on you? So you start noticing all the little parts that you were missing.
yes,
And yeah, and you don't have closure, so the best way you can do it is just try to express it through your music.
yeah. 100%. And did the music kind of help you figure out your own personal identity? Did that help shape that for you as well?
Yeah, totally, you know,
Yeah.
because I can sit here and beat myself up over things a lot greater than what anybody can imagine they would beat me up over. You know, they're not like holding certain things against me that I might hold against me, because that's what you do to yourself in the mirror. Like, I hold accountability.
I'm always
That's what.
doing that to myself. I'm my own worst enemy. I'm so harsh on myself. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Uh,
get that one. And if people want to find your music, they want to go and listen, check it out, collaborate, how can they connect with you and find your music and find out more about you?
Okay, you can find actually more than you can find so much of my music on an app called Voloco. It's
Okay.
VOLOCO. I don't expect people to do that. It's an app that makes
I'll
music
leave
and
it
you
in the
got to pay
link.
for.
I'll leave it in
But
the link below. So you sent
uh,
me, haven't you? So I'll leave all that in the description down.
yeah, but you can. The best place is going to be YouTube or Spotify to find my music that's released, that's actually able to generate monetary value for me, or Tune.fm. All three of them are great.
Okay, I'll put those
It's
in.
BzyBlaxe.
You've already touched on some of it as well, Busy. if you want to share some of your major wins and successes with us before you go.
They have it. That's still to be determined.
Yeah.
Slow down when talking, even when I'm on a broadcast. That's one of them. And another one would be to to generate organic streams on my music without having to pay for them. Nothing against paying for them, but if I can't pay for them, then it's got to happen organically, and then I can pay for them and stimulate the economy a little better with it just on GP. But right now, can't even do that.
Well, fingers crossed you will get somewhere. Keep going. Don't give up. And thank you for being such an awesome guest on the show. We have people listening to the show every single week from all around the world. So please do collaborate with this awesome guy on our podcast today. And I just want to say a massive thank you for sharing your story, being so kind, open. And yeah, I wish you all the best.
Have me back again. Thank you.
100%. I will have you back again. It'll be a pleasure. I'll speak to you.
Bye.
Thank you.